Hello and welcome back to Healthy Core and Yoga Flow. This is a 30-day yoga challenge that we have arrived on to day 23 already. So if you are popping in, welcome. And if you have followed along for the whole journey, I am so glad that you're here with me. Today we are going for our peak pose, which is going to be Ardha Chandrasana or half balancing moon. So we'll do a couple of healthy core exercises that will help us to stabilize that standing balancing pose. It'll be a fun time. So let's take a comfortable seat and center ourselves. Let's sit nice and tall on our sit bones and opening all the pathways from the outer energy bodies into our physical body, and turn and churn our energies today and raise vibrations, change our frequencies, and loosen up and eliminate all stagnant energy. So let's, with that, just center, sit nice and tall, set an intention for your practice that you might want to have today. Connecting to something bigger around us, connecting to each other, and gently bringing the hands together in front of the heart and joining our voices in one Om. Take a nice big inhale. Open our eyes, and we'll start by coming to all fours and doing our 5 cat-cows to really wake up the juices and wake up any stagnations and really start to purify from the center and out. Pull the lower belly all the way in and up, awakening the muscles of the belly, awakening the core, and exhale. Bring it back down to neutral and arch the spine up towards the sky. And exhale. And inhale, arching it all the way up. And we'll keep that going. Really finding the deeper core muscles and really bringing it all the way in and waking up the pathway for the upper and the lower body to connect. And let's do one more. Inhale, bring it all the way up. And exhale, come back to neutral. And from here, let's flip ourselves over onto the side, all the way onto our back, but through the side. That's a good idea. So let's come all the way down onto our back. And from here, we're going to start with our tabletop variation, dead bug variation, by first really bringing the lower belly all the way in and closing the gap between your back and the yoga mat and keeping that. So the glutes are not helping out with this. It's just really the super deep core, the whole center of the body. And then bring the legs up into tabletop, arms up to the side. You can stay down with me with your shoulder blades on the floor, or you can lift up. So see what works the best for you. Today I'm keeping my shoulder blades down. Opposite arm, opposite leg for 20. I'm just going to keep this going, and we don't take the arm and the leg out further than the lower back can stay, because then it's just kind of a wear and tear, flip-flopping the back. We want to make sure that we keep the upper and lower body connected nice and strong. And we'll have 15 more here. Keeping that lower back all the way in and really working on the deeper layers around the organs, the muscles that supports the spine, supports the organs, support the health of the belly, supports the health of the organs, supports the health of the bones, sacrum, SI joints, hips, all of it. And we'll go for about another 10 more here. 10. And really reach the arm and the leg opposite direction. 9 more. And Keeping that belly nicely hugged in. 7 more. 6 more. And 5 more. And 4 more. 3 more. And 2 more. And last 1 on each side. And slowly bring it back up and hug the knees in. And I hope that feels really good for the belly. And we're gonna do our 20 crunches from here to hug the midline even more and connect ourselves into the core. Arms out to the side, hands behind the head. Bring the lower back to the floor again. And that's what we will extend from really always in every pose. So we're exhale up and inhale down. And exhale up and inhale down for 10. And then we'll pulse for 10. We'll do 8 more. 7 more. 6. 5. 4. 3. And 2. And 1, and then hold it up and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And gently bring it all the way back down. Take the hands underneath the knees, roll up to a seat. We will pulse for 20. So come to a comfortable place where you feel connected, where you feel plugged in, where you can just kind of hang out for 20, 19. Hanging out like in a connected way. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. And then from here, come over onto your left side. And we're going to take the left hand straight onto the floor and coming with your right leg up. The right arm comes up and over. Side plank. And we're going to kick the right leg up to the hand and anterior tilt the hips. And plug the femur and get a nice engagement in towards the side of the waist. We'll have 7 more and then we'll hold and pulse. And this is kind of what we did yesterday, but we laid flat on the side. 5 more, 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, and 1 more, and then we'll hold it up and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, use that side of the waist, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it back down. And switch to the second side. Right hand down, turn the palm, claw the fingertips, left leg out, the right foot is kickstanding behind you for support. So we're not lifting the leg straight up and down for the IT band. We are doing an anterior tilt and using the core and just really the whole side of the waist to stabilize for when we lift up later into our half moon pose. Take the left arm up and over and then anterior tilt the hips and plug the femur for 10. Exhale up, inhale down, 9, 7, pull the lower belly all the way in, 8, now 7, and 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Bring it back up and pulse it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, use the core, 3, 2, and 1, and bring it back down. Nice. And come all the way down onto your back. And we are going to do some reverse curls just to kind of buffer the whole side from the very crunches to that lower belly all the way in, and bring the side of the waist into the core and help with the reverse curls. Hands either on the floor or hands underneath the sacrum. So see whatever works the best for you. Keep the lower back on the floor, extend the legs out, curl it all the way up. Lower back stays on the floor. And we will have 16 more here. We'll just have a good time, rolling, extending, holding the core nice and strong, hugging the midline. 14 and 12 and 11 and 10, and we just keep this going. 9. Hold the lower belly in, keep it nice and stable for the lower belly, for the lower back. 5 more and 4 more, 3 more and 2 more and 1 more, and bring it all the way in. Excellent. Let's roll all the way up and take child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart, stretch the arms forward, and let your forehead come to the floor, stretch the arms forward. Taking 3 nice deep breaths right here. And gently come all the way out onto the belly. I'm just going to flop all the way over to the belly for a low cobra onto the forearms, and stretching out through the front side, releasing the back side, and actively pressing down all the 10 toes nice and strong. And then exhale, release, bring it all the way back. Come up onto all fours, tuck the toes, down dog. Come up onto your toes and pedal your heels. Stretch into your ankles, your knees, your hips. Lift the upper arm bones. Press strongly down. Take a few breaths here. Extend your hips up to the sky, elongate the side body. Come with your gaze over to the hands, bend your knees, take a step over to the hands. Inhale, long spine. And exhale, fold. Hands to hips, elbows to sky. Press the feet, come all the way up to standing, and release the hands. Inhale, arms to the sky, Ardha Chandrasana. Exhale, hinge and fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, unravel, Ardha Uttanasana, and place your hands, step to plank pose, warming up the body, and lower all the way to the floor. Inhale to your cobra, low, high, medium cobra, whichever works for you at this time of your practice and the time of the day. Exhale, release, tuck the toes, down dog, downward facing dog. We'll give ourselves 3 breaths right here, pressing into the hands, anchoring down into the heels, and step your right and left foot over to the hands. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Feet grounding, arms to the sky. Inhale and exhale, hands to heart, and release. Inhale, sweep it back up. Exhale, hands to earth. Inhale, long spine, down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, spreading the fingers nice and wide. Step your right foot between the hands and come into our low lunge thigh stretch, where we have the knee and the hips stacked above and below each other, and just simply tapping into the hip flexor, pulling the lower belly in, and enjoying a nice big hip flexor psoas release right here. And then exhale, hands to the floor and step it back, down dog. Left foot between the hands, and same thing. Just a nice, easy psoas release, hip flexor stretch. Knee down, knee and hip are aligned, and knee and ankle is aligned. So we're not leaning anywhere. We are just simply kind of pulling the tailbone down towards the center of the mat and pulling the lower belly in, and you should feel like a nice little stretch in towards your right hip. And exhale, release, hands to floor, down dog, please. Downward facing dog. From here, step your right foot between your hands. Stay nice and low, and exhale and fold forward. Come into your hamstrings, flex your toes up to the sky, and exhale, bring it back down, and extend your front leg, and bring it back down, and extend it. And from here, come all the way down, put your left knee onto the floor, inhale, arms up to the sky. This time we come forward in the hips. We take the front knee over the front ankle and come into low lunge Anjaneyasana. Arms up to the sky, lifting the heart, the chest, the lungs. Pull your right heel towards your right hip, and exhale from here, hands to the floor, and extend your front leg, heel down, toes up, bow over your front leg, and gently bring it back down and step back, downward facing dog. Left foot between the hands, 3 times of low lunge to a pyramid pose variant. Heel down, toes up, and exhale. Inhale, exhale at your own pace that works the best for you. And exhale one more time. And come back down with your knee to the floor. Anjaneyasana, low lunge, arms up to the sky, hips forward, pull your left heel towards your left sit bone isometrically, and create lots of good vibrant space, and open up pathways from there. And exhale, release, hands to earth. Step back, downward facing dog. Ardha Chandrasana. Let's step your right foot between the hands and come down with your left knee onto the floor and hands to the right quad. Come forward in the outer hips. We'll come back to that hamstring stretch very soon. Take your left hand over towards your left foot and find your hand and your foot inside each other for a little deeper quad stretch, for a little bit more digging in if needed. If not, leave your hand on your knees. Sweep maybe your right arm up to the sky. Hips facing forward. Press your hand and your foot into each other. Exhale, release, hands to the floor, and step it back, downward facing dog. Give yourself a breath right here. Let's step the left foot forward, take your right knee to the floor, and we'll come into our hamstring release and stretch that we kind of missed before. Sometimes I get a little bit ahead of myself, but hey, sometimes you just mix it up a little bit, and that's okay too. And then from here, we'll come forward in the hips and take our hands to the knees and pull the front heel in and just lean on forward, and maybe stay here for your a little bit deeper quad stretch. Take your right hand, if it's available, over to your right foot and press your hand and your foot into each other. And from here, sweep your arm up towards the sky, index and thumb together, lifting it up, connecting all parts of the body by hugging skin to muscle, muscle to bone. Breathing, nice deep breaths, and exhale, release, hands to floor, and step it back, downward facing dog. Ardha Chandrasana. Give ourselves a few breaths right here. We're gonna come back down onto the knees and hands, tabletop, and come back to our kickstand where we were earlier, taking the right arm up to the sky. And this time, take your inner thighs wide back and apart and really like anterior tilt your hips, and then from there, lift your right leg up. And we're just gonna hold it right here. Take the arm over the head. Nice. And exhale, take it back down, hand to foot behind. Stretch your hand and your foot nice and strong. Lift your gaze up towards the sky. Spread your toes and exhale, release. Come back down and come to your second side. Kickstand your right toes out. Take your left leg out to the side, arm up to the sky. Do anterior tilt your hips, just stick your buttocks out, sit bones out, and then from there, lift your left leg out and take your arm up and over. And holding it right here. Claw the fingertips. And exhale, release. Hand, take your hand to your foot. Press your hand and your foot into each other for a wheel pose variant with your quad facing straight forward and your foot straight back. Lift the gaze all the way up. And exhale, release. Hand and foot, and then take it back to the floor. Step it back, downward facing dog. Ardha Chandrasana. Feet to hands, please. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Hands to hips, elbows to sky. Come all the way up to standing and release your hands to the sides. And from here, sweep them all the way up, like a nice big circle. Crescent Tadasana to the side. Second toe forward, feet together or hip widths apart, whatever works for your stand and for your hips. Come up and over and bring it all the way over. Second side. Nice. And gently bring it all the way back up. Hands behind, interlace, widen your feet, hip widths apart. Roll the shoulders up and back and hinge and fold. For forward fold with your hands interlaced. Take your arms maybe up to the sky or take your elbows. Breathing. Lift your shoulders away from your ears. And exhale, release. Hands to sacrum, hands to the floor. From here, step your feet a little wider apart. And take your hands to your hips. Press your hands into your hips and come up to standing. For Trikonasana, right heel in, right toes out, sweep the arms out to the side, and anterior tilt your hips, femurs rooting back, and inhale, exhale, come to your triangle pose with your right hand somewhere around your shin, ankle, and maybe you will have a block that you might put behind your hand on, or for a support for your right hand. Left arm can stay on the hip or it can stay up into the sky. Give yourself a few breaths right here. Grounding into your triangle pose, taking your hand to your hip, taking the gaze down in front of your middle toe. Bend your front knee, step it up into Ardha Chandrasana. Bend your standing leg for nice support, so your hip and your ankle are stacked above and below each other. Do anterior tilt your hips. Do pull the lower belly in. Spread your toes. Take your left arm up to the sky. Gaze is down. This is a lot to balance right here. You might find more balance and bring your right hand up to your heart. You might just blast energy into the midline. And then exhale, release. Hands to the floor. And take your left hand to your hips, step it all the way back for Trikonasana. Steady stance, grounding pose. And then take your gaze back down, bend your front knee, and come all the way up and find your way back to wide angle pose. Turn your left pose out. That was our first Ardha Chandrasana, balancing half moon pose. From here, take your top of the hips and tilt them forward, plug the femurs back, pull the lower belly in to stabilize in towards the lower back. Take your left hand somewhere down on the leg. Maybe you're finding a block, maybe your hand is on the ankle, maybe your hand is on the floor. And we'll stay here and enjoy a nice, big, wide triangle pose, grounding, opening pathways, lifting stagnation, letting the body adjust into this shape and form today. And then from here, take your right hand to your right hip, take the gaze down, bend your front knee, and step it up into Ardha Chandrasana, balancing half moon. Anterior tilt your hips, so do stick your sit bones out to the back slightly. Pull the lower belly, and then maybe raise your arm up to the sky, spread your toes. You can stay right here. You can pull the lower belly all the way in and up. You can take the left hand to the heart. Blast your gaze down somewhere where it feels nice and steady. Skin to muscle, muscle to bone. Constant pulsation of exchange of vibrations in the body as we practice our yoga poses. And exhale, release. Left hand to the floor, right hand to the hip. Step it back and find your triangle pose, Trikonasana. Right arm up to the sky, gaze up. And bend your front knee and come all the way up to your wide angle pose. Take your hands to the hips. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, hinge and fold. Hands to floor. Stretch the back of the legs. Stretch your spine. Take your head to a block or to the floor, or just simply let your spine relax. Let your neck relax. Give yourself a couple of nice deep breaths right here. And gently straightening the arms, come to downward facing dog, hands to the front of the mat. And then from here, come all the way over to plank pose, and we'll hang out in a plank pose for a little while. And then lower all the way to the floor. Inhale to cobra. You can widen your hands. You can come up onto your fingertips. And exhale, release, bring it all the way back down. Hands by the shoulders, downward facing dog. From here, step your right foot between the hands. And kick your left leg up 90 degrees to our Virabhadrasana 3 variant, our Warrior 3 pose. Pull the lower belly all the way in. Take your hands to the sides behind you, fly them to the side, or take your arms forward. Take your pick. Full blast into the midline, exchanging layers of energy through the whole body. Exhale, hands to the floor, and turn your left hip open and find Ardha Chandrasana again. Left leg stays up. Bend both knees. Take your left hand inside your left foot if that's for you. If not, stay where you were. And maybe from here you'll take a different variant of your half moon pose into Chaputasana. Gaze can stay down or gaze can come up towards the sky. Take any one that works for you. Breathing, blasting energy into the midline, into the core, staying connected to ourselves, everything around us. And then from there, extend back to Ardha Chandrasana. Take the gaze down, take your hands to the floor and turn your hips. Step back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Right heel down, left heel down. And come forward to plank, please. Lower all the way to the floor and make your way to your cobra. Inner shoulder, outer shoulder. And exhale, release. Downward facing dog. Down dog, and then we have a second side. It's very exciting. Let's step the left foot between the hands. We'll even out our sides. Step up, kick it up into Virabhadrasana 3. So you have your right toes down, you have your heel up, you have micro bend in the knees, you have your left hip and ankle stacked above and below each other, you have an anterior tilt of the hips, and you have a nice hold and secure, stabilize into the lower belly, into that lower spine. Find your hands off the floor if it's available. If not, leave them down. Put them on blocks, whatever works for you. Virabhadrasana 3. Full blasting into the midline. Take the hands to the floor and sweep your right arm up and your left hand stays down. Gaze can come up to the sky, and then we can bend both knees. Gaze come back down. Take your hand to your inside of your right foot and then kick your right foot back into your right hand. And the quad is open and wide and the foot is behind you. Take the gaze up and over the right shoulder. Stabilize with the lower belly, strongly hugging in the whole front side of the spine. Full pulsation of energy. One more breath and then exhale. Release back to Ardha Chandrasana, balancing half moon. Hands to the floor and turn your hips. And then from there, step it all the way back into down dog. And we can check off our half moon variants for today. Lift your upper arm bones, plug those upper arm bones in and then lift them up and away and get some good space for the upper back. Few more breaths right here, closing up our practice by coming with our feet to the middle and with the hands to meet. Take your feet hip widths apart, outer hip widths apart, bend into your knees, release the hips, find a new space for the hips to be. Hands around the elbows, top of the head towards the floor, and then we'll just get to swing a little bit side to side, this way and that way. Maybe a couple of yes, a couple of no's, a couple of figure eights. Finding some good rooting into each four corner of our feet. And gently release the hands and come all the way down onto your seat, please. You're gonna roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Hands can be right alongside on the IT band, and we can just hold it on the side of our legs and roll it down and release the arms out to the side and taking the feet wide. And I think it'd be great if you stayed here. You can take your left hand on your heart, your right hand on the lower belly, and just balancing that energy in the front side of the spine that we really did turn around by hugging in super strongly to be able to balance on that one leg at a time. It takes a lot of concentration, a lot of energy, a lot of determination. So we're building all kinds of things with our yoga practice. Enjoying your hands and your heart and your belly. Stay there for 5 to 10 minutes, or of course, if you are more comfortable sitting up, then sit up. And we'll take the hands to the heart and the belly, changing up the vibrations in our body by just breathing into it. We can feel new warmth in our hands, new layers of vibrancy, pulsation. Sending gratitude to our bodies for taking us through all these different shapes in yoga practices. Let's take the palms together in front of the heart, or keep your hands where they are if you're supine form. We'll close our practice together with one Om. Let's take a nice big inhale. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey for switch and change in vibrations and frequencies for our body in these times of transformation. So this was day 23, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 24. Thank you so much, and namaste.